Welcome to NBC News Daily, and thanks so much for joining us. We start right now with the tense and chaotic scenes that have really been unfolding across college campuses in the country. In UCLA, for example, police raided an encampment there earlier on this morning. They used flashbangs after warning those crowds to disperse. We're told more than 100 people were arrested and at least one officer was hurt. All of this coming as protests and demonstrations over the war in Gaza are spreading from coast to coast.
Just today, police in New York released edited body cam video from earlier this week that shows officers clearing protesters at Columbia. New York City Mayor Eric Adams now estimates that more than 40% of the people arrested there and at the nearby City College of New York were not affiliated with the schools. Before leaving the White House this morning, President Biden spoke about this growing unrest and said order must be restored.
There's the right to protest, but not the right to cause chaos. People have the right to get an education, the right to get a degree, the right to walk across the campus safely without fear of being attacked.
NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson is on UCLA's campus. So, Steve, first, let's just talk about what happened there on that campus. Things are unfolding so differently across the country. Walk us through the tactics that police there at UCLA used to clear that encampment. I mean, it looks totally calm and peaceful behind you now.
Yeah, I think the typical phrase for the tactic, most available tactic used, is shock and awe. I mean, this was an overwhelming amount of force using essentially every trick in the book. As you mentioned, flashbangs, rubber bullets, non-lethal weaponry, and just an overwhelming amount of officers. We had LAPD, you had the CHP, you had the Sheriff's Department, all of these agencies working together, providing perimeter support and then piercing the heart of this encampment. This was swift. This was, you could call it brutal, not in the way they treated protesters, but in how they treated the structure itself of this encampment, sort of chewing through it so fast and so efficiently that I think it caught a lot of the protesters off guard. And certainly there was a last stand. We saw protesters sort of forming a line in the face of those police officers saying that they weren't going anywhere. But in the end, police sort of pulled everybody out. And they wanted to do so as well by waiting to plan for the right timing. One of the things that the officer told me, somebody I spoke to about 2 hours or so ago, is that they really wanted to focus not only on the safety of the officers and the safety of the students, but also the safety of the protesters. And when you had only one person injured after you made 130 plus arrests, I think the police did an efficient job. Not only that, but looking behind me, as you mentioned, everything's almost already cleaned up. This almost looks like a college quad again, which is something you wouldn't be able to have said, you know, even 12 hours ago or so. Vicki and Morgan.
Incredible reporting there on the ground as everything is unfolded there. It really just evolved. NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson on the ground at UCLA. Steve, thanks.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.